Hello guys and good afternoon. So today we will be using query in creating a Microsoft Access by using the SQL codes. Okay, so some important rules that we need to be reminded of. Okay, so let me put it on a notepad. So one of the most important things about SQL to remember is that number one, it is not case sensitive. So it would not matter if you use upper cases or lower cases. Number two, usually SQL ends with a semicolon. No. Now in Access, it's actually okay to not end in semicolon because it's a very user-friendly format. But in other databases, you will really be needing to have a semicolon on the end. And then another thing that you need to remember about doing in SQL, you could you can make it multi-line. Okay? So it doesn't require for us to just type it or write it in one line. You could actually do it multiple lines so that it's much more readable. And then the last one is do not use what we call reserved words. So what are reserved words? Words that has a specific function in SQL. Okay, so let's go ahead and make use of the queries. Okay, so what does query do? So queries actually filter data or defines how you will be able to view the data. So right now we will be just gonna be doing three things. The first one is showing it or displaying everything on the table, displaying one field and then displaying two fields. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that for you. So to be able to do that, you just need to first create the query that you will be using. And I'm gonna go with query design. Now there's two ways to do it. You could actually do it here by showing the criteria, or you could actually type by right clicking and then going to SQL view. So this is the SQL view. Okay, so let me go ahead and change the settings on my data so that we could enlarge this one. The size is going to be, let's say, 28. Okay, it did not change. Let me go ahead and take a look at it again. Object designers, current database. Let's see, where is the font size for this one? So the SQL view, I need to have it in a much more higher. Okay, so query design. So let's set it to 20. Let's close this one and open another query design. It's just showing SQL view. There we go. Okay, so what we need to do here is we need to use these reserved words. So the first one is select. So what does select do? Select identifies the fields that we would want to see. So right now we have um, 6 fields. So person ID, name, birthday, age, address, and number. So to be able to display everything, we need to select all, and the asterisk means all. So that would mean that the data on the that means that the data on the table will be seen completely. But we also need to use another reserved word, which is from. Now from identifies where these fields will be coming from. So I'm gonna be typing here TBL example because this means that I am selecting everything on the table and it will be coming from the TBL example. So that's how we interpret the SQL. So right now I'm currently in a multi-line format, but you could actually type it like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and display the query design, run, And there we go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and extend this one so that we could view the data properly, since we have adjusted the sizing for proper presentation for this video. There we go. Okay, and then if we want to show a very simple just one field, we could actually do it by just naming that field that we want to show. So let's say I'm gonna go ahead and show only the name. I'm just gonna type here the name of the field, so name, and then if I run, it will show only the name of the field. So it goes with every field that I do have in my table. So let's say I'm gonna go ahead and print the person ID, run, there we go, and anything goes as long as we type it in. Now remember that you should have the same spellings of your fields and table names if you're going to be using it in SQL, because it will provide an error. So let's say I type in TBL examples. So if I run this, it will have an error. And let's say IDs, I type in person IDs. If I run it, it will ask for a parameter since it's not recognizing the field that we have been using in our SQL. So make sure that you have the proper spelling. And to be able to show multiple fields, you just need to separate them by a comma. So I could display two fields. There we go. Or I could add one more if I want, as long as you separate them with a comma. So let's say age, run, and you'll have it displayed. Okay, so I think that's the way of displaying uh, different fields. Now I'm gonna add one more in which we could actually rename fields using what we call the AS. So the AS is short for alias. So I type in AS and then I type in ID. So this is the proper format. So the name of the field, space, the word AS or as, and then space, the new name that you will be using. So if I do run, I'm displaying the person ID, but I have renamed the field into ID. Now I can do it multiple times if I want to. So let's say the name, AS, and this time I'm gonna use full name. Now as you can see, I have added a bracket on the name that I will be using for the name. I changed it to full name simply because spaces will not work in naming tables. You just need to place them within a bracket to be able for it to run. So if I run this, you'll see that the full name has been created and ID. So I have renamed two tables at the same time. But if I remove the bracket, it will definitely have an error because it's not recognizing the sequence of the words that I have typed. So just add in the brackets. As long as it doesn't have spaces, it's okay. But if it has spaces, put it in a bracket. Okay, I think that covers our discussion on displaying and renaming the fields for queries.